This is my uncle, Charlie Rodriguez, and that's his horse Lucky. My Uncle Charlie has won all around cowboy at the Fortuna Rodeo more times than he can remember. In fact, he won 3 consecutive years in the 1990s. Charlie's won buckles for calf roping, calf branding, team roping, team pinning, wild cow milking, and steer wrestling.
En la distancia un caballo que lleva a su vaquero. Son cansados por el camino, los dos tienen que beber bajo el sombrero del vaquero.
Charlie was born into the Vaquero tradition in Fort Davis, Texas. This is a style of horsemanship based on respect and communication between horse and rider. Now everyone knows that cattle were not indigenous to America. It is rumored that in 1521, a Spanish sea captain, Gregorio Villalobos, set sail for Veracruz, Mexico, with 6 cows and a bull. Along with the introduction of the cow, the Spanish also introduced vaquero working skills, which were further developed in Mexico and became the foundation for the cattle ranching culture in Texas. Which brings us to the place where Charlie got his start, the Kokernot 06 Ranch.
Well, my grandfather worked for the 06 for 45 years. He was the main boss. We was at Leoncito working for my dad. And then we started riding horses when I was probably about 6, 7 years old. Started getting on some horses by ourselves, and my brother and I would go to the corral and get the rope the milk cows, calves, and ride them. Put the rope and ride them. We wanted to be cowboys.
The skills Charlie was acquiring to manage cattle and horses would later help him to compete in rodeos.
When we were marking lambs, he used to tell us, leave 10 or 12 lambs outside and talk about fun. I had four Welches horses, and they were good. They just follow a lamb like a dog, and we had those little maguey ropes, and we used to rope them. Put one lamb in front of your saddle and rope another one, and then get 2 and take them to the corral, and then go rope some more.
Rodeo is a Spanish word that referred to the semi-annual roundup of cattle born from the Mexican ranching tradition.
I must have been 16, 17 the first time I went on the roundup. Because when they started the roundup, they would call and see who was going to go. They would come to town and ask you if you wanted to go to the roundup for 40, 45 days, and you had to, if you said yes, they would tell you what day they was going to pick you up. So you had to roll your bat, have it ready, your saddle, and they would come on in the truck and pick you up. By the time we start gathering the roundup and getting close to where the camp was going to be, the cook had lunch for us, coffee, as we changed horses. To start sorting, you always kept the best horses to sort cattle, because you always use the best horses for the cutting. You ride the broncs in the morning.
My uncle says that on the 06 Ranch, you could ride on horseback from dawn to dusk and never see a fence. He started working in the first grade to help support the family and had dreams of buying the perfect horse to take him to the main event. He learned quickly that if he didn't have a good horse, there was no use in showing up.
They had this rodeo in Fort Davis, and there were college boys, and I'm working on ranches. We used to rope a lot of baby calves. I had the roping on my hand, and this guy, they used to go to Sol Ross. He says, "What are you going to do with that rope, Charlie?" So I told him, I says, "I'm going to beat you guys in the calf roping tomorrow." Leonardo Pando had a nice calf horse, and I used him. So I went out there and roped this Brahma calf, and I went out there and flanked him, tied him, and won the calf roping with that raggedy rope.
I strove hard, yes, the hardest there by far. Hardest and the farthest, just to see my diamond star. When I saw a little hole at the dark end of my soul, Squeeze me up a diamond from a little chunk of coal.
Charlie says that helping youth learn skills is a source of pride and inspiration. Maybe not so much for his grandson, Andrew, but for other local champs like Billy Buganig, it just might be.
I'd worked with him on some ranches when I was growing up, and he taught me a lot. He always knew the way the cattle were going to move, and I learned a lot by watching him.
I met Charlie at a really young age when I was just learning how to rope. You knew every time you went and you roped with Charlie, you had a chance to win.
When I started team roping and stuff when I got into high school, he was always there to help, and he was always someone that I looked up to because he knew how to do everything.
And I always enjoyed and still to this day would rope with Charlie anytime or anywhere he wanted to.
Champs, those kids, I tell you, they're good.
Won't you marry me down by the river near the shady tree hole? Now won't you marry me? I'm a lonesome buck who never would amount to much, but maybe if you married me.
Yeah, he should still have a good shot. He always is able to catch something.